Bitcoin, full send. Now, I will say we're about to find out if I'm right. I kind of don't think I am. Before Bitcoin even crossed the 100K mark, we were still down here. I said it would get to 107. It did. But for right now, till the end of the year, I kind of think we'll probably just remain in this channel up. Any of the dips down here are more the dip buys in things like probably Mara, Beto, MicroStrategy, Bitcoin in general. So like today we sold a call in the growth account, and I flew through that. And this is what sucks is like I flew through it. I was like, oh, cool. And then I moved on to the next one, and the order didn't fill. And I was like, oh, dang it. Like, the options, I was just moving too quick. The options hadn't adjusted yet. So I put my order in at, I think, 38, 34. And then I noticed it didn't fill. When the questions came in, like, did that happen? I was like, oh, yeah. And I go in there to take a screenshot, like, yeah, dummy. And so I noticed it didn't fill. It's a limit fill. I put it back in there, and it fills. So we sold the call on Mara. And then it shoots up. And we would have just had the fill had I just left it alone. This is on ticker Mara, Lisa. So, sucks. We could have got a couple extra bucks had I just left it there, but we didn't. Either way, like I explained last night, anytime we get up here, I'm selling the calls. Because I do kind of think we'll turn this thing around. We'll have that dip buy or just the red candle in general. But the one thing I do want to keep an eye out for is, has the retail hype actually stepped in? And I actually don't know if it has yet. Again, now that we're comfortably above the 100K mark, and we've been below, we came back up, and every time it drops down below, there's somebody out there saying, I told you it wasn't going to stick. And then the next day, next couple hours, we're right back above, and then we push even a little bit higher. And I think the longer we're up here, the more believers it makes. There's a lot of people that got burned, assuming it was going to go to 100 grand last time back here, and then it didn't. And I think a lot of those just might give it a second shot. And I think we're just waiting for some of that. Now, when that does show up, we're going to be on the exit door. We're going to be 1 foot out the door, because that will be your sign that, like, that last breath, it's going to be that volleyball spike. They're going to send it up. They're going to create that exit liquidity and then come right back down. So we won't be selling calls. And I know I said this exact same thing last night, but I'm just going to kind of repeat this every now and then to keep this in the backs of our minds. Right now, we're trending up. We're doing good. We go on another surge. I think that might be our cue to go ahead and loosen up. It's growth account. We have Bitcoin, we have Beto, we have Mara. We have allocation-wise just into Bitcoin itself. We have a good chunk in there. We could afford to lighten the load a little bit, and that's what we'll do when we get to that time. So a couple people that heard that last night, their questions were, what price? I don't know. It's going to be a price action thing more than it will be a price. Right now, the gain train's rolling, and this number on the right doesn't actually mean much to me. So as long as we stay intact, we're good. As far as the S&P, we did have a green day today. Nothing too wild, actually. So just more of these meaningless boxes. Went from blue zone to yellow zone. That's where we found some sellers. Sold back off, kind of hanging out. I do expect that to be a bull flag. My bad. I was just lost on how you got more than everyone else on Mara. No, don't apologize, because actually in this case it would have panned out, because it would have ended up filling later. I would just got a weird notification that it filled 3 hours later. But no, anytime there's a question, go ahead and ask. Usually that's how you guys fix my edits. Someone will ask, what ticker? I'm like, oh, might help if I add the ticker into that. But again, so I'm posting on Discord and on Patreon. Now I'm just copying and pasting, but on Patreon, for those that are just in that, there's a title section, and that's where I put, AMD call, Mara call, the ticker and what it is, and then the description down below, and then I copy and paste the description. So that's why on Discord sometimes you guys don't have that, which I 100% try to catch it every time, but He thinks he's slick like that. That would have been nice. But usually I'm not at the bell. The bell rings and I'm not right there. Today I was. Usually I wait till at least 8:35 because the options chain is just waking up. Anyway, moving on. Speaking of being slick, how'd you guys like that NASDAQ short? What was it, right? It's right here. Yeah, 'cause I almost grabbed the top. Yeah, it was right here. I thought I was pretty close. I went short, guys. I didn't give it much wiggle room. I told you, and I even said, don't copy me. I'm just going to go short the NQ futures. I tried to catch this knife, ended up just tagging right back out. Didn't quite get the ninja snipe play. I do think we're a little overbought, so hopefully it's kind of a turnaround Tuesday for a dip buy. Now, the NASDAQ futures, that did sell out, tag out, took an L. But around when we started to base out, instead of grabbing a futures contract, I did grab 535 puts for this Friday on QQQ, hoping that we kind of get a gap down tomorrow. Depending on how much it gaps, and likely I'll probably end up just locking it in. Tomorrow could just be a bright red day. Turnaround Tuesday, as we just fade into the lesser volume at the end of the year. I don't know. So anything that a gap down and that contract gaps up, I probably won't be squeezing every dollar out of that tomorrow. I'll try my best, but anyone who's ever trailed options in the morning knows how that's going to pan out. 95% chance I'm going to put my stop in the green and it's going to tag out in 30 seconds. He had an alarm set for 8:30 so he could send those alerts and go back to bed. Listen, don't judge me. I saw your little tag in the chat too. He said, Don should be here soon. He'll be here around noon. Yeah, I don't think I wasn't reading that. Glad I didn't go long. So yesterday I was even really debating on going long the Dow, and that did kind of look good too. And exactly what I said yesterday is 100% what happened. I said I want to go long here. Now, we already did back here at this zone, but all it's doing is a quick little hiccup and then right back down. And one of the cleanest channels down you probably will ever see in a chart. And all we've done is just continue that. I will say this is a yellow zone. We're going to edit this to there. And that, in fact, is a yellow zone. Might be worth catching the knife there. We'll see. Cross that bridge when we get there. The Dow has had 8 days red in a row, the most since 2018. Yeah. But there's just, it's so, the one thing that's concerning. Now, if you said something like that to me, and it was the NASDAQ or something like that, but the red days kind of look like these green days. Now, I hate to say this. There's a little bit of that gambler's fallacy into this one, because there are times where, we're selling off probably with good reason, but there's just, like you said, we haven't been this many days since 2018. You're not the only one that notices that. It starts to get talked about a lot, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Does that drive people to lock in profits, or are people trying to catch the knife? 100% that style play is going to the roulette table saying, it's been red the last 6 times, I'm going to put my money on black. Not a lot of theory involved in it, and it takes about 3 brain cells. And, again, as long as your allocation reflects that, I would take that style of trade if it just wasn't how clean this is right now. There's no emotion. There's nothing driving this right now. This looks like they forgot to turn the algos on to trickle mode. Hey, just leave the markets here. I'm going to go on Christmas break, and, I'll be back. But they forgot, so it's just like the volume's just dying down. Speaking of volume, how does mine sound? I see I'm like clipping right now. Like I am max red. Does it sound bad? Because I can turn it down. I just don't want to do it midstream and then mess everybody up. Thanks, NVIDIA, for sending Grandpa down. Grandpa just couldn't hang with the new stuff. I'm fine? Okay. Man, this is yelling at me. I'm bright red bars. I got green, yellow, and red. Red's typically like sound clipping, and it is bright red. Okay, good. I can't stand it when the sound clips. It just sounds like garbage. Perfect. I'll ignore it then. Did the Russell do anything? Russell bounced. Yeah, I doubt anyone took that play. All right, what we got today? Looking to start the next 100